Hi, I'm Scott Richards, CEO of Dial 800, and I want to discuss AccuRoute, our call routing platform that allows lead generation marketers, franchisors, or marketers to send calls to multiple locations extremely easy and from your desktop 24 hours a day. Let's take a look at the platform. It has 4 components: toll-free numbers, routing profiles, distribution groups, and ring twos. We're going to go through each one and show you just how easy it is to route calls. Here are 2 of the numbers that we're using in our lead generation campaign. Let's take a look at one of the numbers. This number, as you can see, is assigned to the lead generation profile. That's called routing profiles that we're going to look at next. You can put different kinds of messages, whisper tones, failed messages, and these are easily just uploaded right into the platform. Additionally, we've got ring to constraints on the toll-free number. So, for instance, if you try to send the call to a location and within 15 seconds they didn't answer the call, you'll send it to another location. We have a maximum call length, meaning that if somebody was on the phone up to 60 minutes, no problem. Anytime over 60 minutes, the call gets automatically terminated. Now, let's take a look at the lead gen routing profile. Lead gen routing profile, you can see it has 2 toll-free numbers attached to it. It has several things in it: busy, no answer, final attempt, record calls. Let's go take a look at the details of the profile. This has 5 different rules that are related to anything that uses this lead gen profile. The first is if a call comes from a payphone, it will be blocked. Next, if a call comes from Canada, that call will be blocked as well. You can see that we have 2 geo-routing rules. One is by zip code. So if any calls are coming from these zip codes, send the call to this phone number. The next geo-routing rule is calls are coming from these states, route the call to this group of locations or buyers. And finally, if the call doesn't fall into any of these parameters, send that call to this number, which is our call center. Now let's take a look to see what is this group. That's called distribution groups. Our distribution group that we just looked at, it's called Vitamin D Radio Promo. And you can see that we have 3 phone numbers or 3 participants in that group. Let's take a look at the details of the group. So if a call comes in from the States, if you recall, we're going to send those calls to these different locations. These are the phone numbers of the locations. We're giving 50% of the calls to the first location, with the remaining 25% of the calls going to each of the remaining 2 locations. If you would like, you could simply do it round robin. We call it uniform call distribution, and the calls will be sent to the first, second, third, and back up to the first. This is one of the locations. This is their phone number. We call it the ring to. Let's take a look at that ring to and see if they have any constraints. So here is that number that we just looked at, and you can see the constraints are maximum calls, state blocking, concurrent calls, and availability. Let's go look at the details of those constraints. So the first constraint is a state blocking, meaning that they're not allowed to take calls from Arizona, Texas, or Oklahoma. Hours of availability are very flexible depending upon when the operation is open or closed. So you can see Monday through Wednesday from 8 a.m. to 12 p.m. they're willing to take calls. On Thursday and Friday from noon till 5 p.m. Very easy to change, and when you change it, you naturally can change it to whatever time zone the individual location is in. Next, max calls means the maximum number of calls they want to receive per, in this case, day is 100. If you're selling leads and that lead buyer, for instance, only wants to pay for 100 leads, this is how you can control it. And you could do it over a week or a month period of time as well. Concurrent calls has to do with staffing. They can only, in this particular case, receive 25 concurrent calls. And if the AccuRoute platform sees that there's 25 calls already going to that location, it will then send this next call to another location until one of the lines are free, in which case we will try to send to that location. On the location, you can also set up whisper tone, a little audible message to the person receiving the call that the caller cannot hear, alerting them that the call came from a particular type of advertisement. Busy, no answer. If they don't answer the calls within 60 seconds, they have an alternative number that they would like those calls to go to. And you can turn on or off call recording. That is the AccuRoute demo. Very easy to use. Toll-free numbers, routing profiles, distribution groups, and ring twos. You control them from your desktop 24 hours a day. AccuRoute from Dial 800. I'm Scott Richards, CEO of Dial 800, and I want to thank you for listening.